CZ Scorpion pistol. Even though this gun has been out for a number of years, it is still an incredibly popular gun. I can attest to that. And in doing so, I'll be dating this video. I had been looking at getting a Scorpion for a while. And then when I finally decided to do it, it's at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Stimulus checks are coming out, gun sales and ammo sales are all over the place, and these are out of stock. I was finally able to locate a store that had one with 10-round mags in stock and ordered it. Still had a good price on it, and glad I did. A lot of the stores that have re-upped their inventory since then have upped the prices on the Scorpions. There are a lot of new Scorpion owners out there right now. In this video, I want to talk about how I set this Scorpion up and optimized it for me. And then I want to talk about PCCs in general. Let's go ahead and talk about the Scorpion. What I really like about this setup, and if you can find one in this configuration, it would be my recommendation to you, is to get one like this that has the CZ factory folding mechanism and cheek piece. This is the same folding mechanism and cheek piece that you would get on a factory SBR or on the 16-inch carbine. The only thing that's different is instead of having the standard buttstock that's on it, I have Gear Head Works adapter in place in order to attach Gear Head Works tailhook brace. If you're not familiar with the tailhook, it is an aluminum brace that is very solid, very rigid. This is as close as you can get to having an SBR without SBRing the pistol. The adapter slides up inside the cheek piece and is held in place by a roll pin. That roll pin can be removed and you can position the adapter in one of three positions, varying your length of pull. It is currently in the middle position. Moving forward, I want to talk about two areas of the Scorpion that are most often criticized: the grip and the trigger. We'll start with the grip. I have an Apex tactical grip on here, replacing the factory grip. The factory grip positions your hand at a rather extreme angle. It has a very radical angle to it and is not that comfortable to hold. And if you get a very high grip on the factory grip, it actually allows the safety to really dig into your trigger finger, and then under the recoil of the gun, during a protracted shooting session, it can become rather painful. So by putting the more vertical grip on here like the Apex offers and many other aftermarket grips, it's much more comfortable to hold the gun, and it actually helps with the way your trigger finger interfaces with that safety, and it's not that bad. I was still having a little bit of a problem with it because I do get such a high grip on the gun, and so if you'll look in the picture, you'll notice that I have ground down the one safety, making it smaller. And that was a gradual process. I took a little material off, put it back on the gun, tried it, took it back off, did that 2 or 3 times until I had removed just the right amount of material to where it was no longer digging into my trigger finger. Be careful if you do that. I was using a Dremel, and these safeties are hollow, so if you go too far, you will basically take away too much material and just create a big hole in the top of it. Thankfully, the safeties are readily available, and they're not that much. The next biggest criticism is the trigger on the Scorpion. I was so concerned about reports of it being horribly heavy that I'm like, I don't even know if I want to get one, because I do like a good trigger on my guns. So I was able to find an OD green Scorpion in stock at a local store. It's not the color that I wanted. And I checked it out, and the trigger was heavy, but I guess I had prepared myself for the worst. And I didn't find it that bad. And when I got this thing in, I found it to be very manageable and able to shoot it very well within the caliber restraint. So out to 100 yards, hits were pretty darn easy. I have since upgraded and put the HBI Industries trigger spring kit in here. It replaces the trigger spring and the disconnector spring, and where this was at 8 pounds when I got it, it is now at 5 pounds. So I got a 3-pound reduction in trigger pull weight, and for $8 for the HBI Industries kit, it is well worth it. Moving forward, what a lot of people notice is that I have moved the charging handle from the left-hand side of the gun to the right-hand side. And that's something a left-handed shooter would do, but I am a right-handed shooter. So why did I do that? Well, I'm not a subgun guy. I'm an AR guy. So I don't want to be grabbing the gun back in here around the mag well and getting my fingers close to the ejection port. Uh, there are a multitude of reasons, especially when it comes to doing that with an AR. But what I want to do is get my hand as far forward as possible in order to drive the gun and control the recoil of it as best as possible. So by positioning my hand in this position, I ended up hitting the charging handle. Well, problem solved by moving it. So it's now on the other side. I don't need it to drop the bolt. I have a bolt release back here to do that with. So I'm not into smacking the side of the gun in an MP5 fashion to release the bolt. The bolt release will do that for me, and it's very similar in nature to dropping the bolt on an AR. If for some reason I do need to drop the bolt by using the charging handle, when I go to acquire my grip, I can just roll my support hand thumb over the top and hit it and drop the bolt. And then as far as making the gun hot or manipulating the bolt, I just roll the gun in, grab it and manipulate it as necessary. So really, it's a non-issue moving it to the right-hand side. It just allows me to optimize my hand position on the gun. I removed the factory hand stop. For me, I found that I was getting like really inconsistent hand placement up there. Maybe I could have repped it out and have gotten better at it, but it just seemed to get in the way. So by installing a QD sling quick disconnect to the front of the gun, I now have a new hand stop. I just drive my hand in there, and the sling adapter and the QD mount itself stop my hand from going any farther forward, and much more efficient for me and much more consistent. Additionally, it allows my hand to fall in the correct position to activate my weapon mounted light, which is the Streamlight TLR 7A. And if you saw my video on the 7A, you know I'm not a fan of the low switch setup on it, but the high switch was good. I really liked it. Well, low switch on a pistol, bad. Low switch on the Scorpion, good. It allows me to bring my hand or my fingers in behind the light and actually butt them right up against it as almost an additional hand stop on the right-hand side of the pistol. But then if I need to activate my light, I just move my finger out and the light comes on, or I tap it for a constant on. So works very, very well on the Scorpion. So I'm glad I held on to the 7A with the low switch because I was contemplating selling it, but now it has found a permanent place on my Scorpion. The optic on the Scorpion, I put a lot of thought into that. I tried a variety of different heights, all the way from just direct mount of an aim point to the rail, all the way up to lower 1/3 AR mounts on here. And they all work. It's really a matter of personal preference. What I found with the high mount was that although I did like the more heads up approach, because I like that with my ARs, I like that with my low power variables, that with this one, and because of kind of the downward nature of this cheek piece, what I found was my head was really straight up, and I just kind of almost had like a floating cheek weld, and was really hard to get anchored in here on the cheek piece. So what I found out worked best for me was ADM low mount in conjunction with the Aimpoint H2. That's the Scorpion pretty much in a nutshell. I will go on to say that I found that it drops magazines free very consistently. So it's always going to drop them free on a closed bolt because I got that bolt tension pressing against the follower. The test is it going to drop those magazines on an open bolt, simulating it's run out of ammo? And everything from the factory 10 rounders, factory 20 rounders, factory 30 rounders, PMags, 35 round magazines, they all drop free. I'm not a big fan of treating it like an MP5 and coming in here and stripping it out. I don't have to. I can reach the mag release with my trigger finger, my index finger, just like I would reach the mag release on an AR with that same finger. So I'm not, it's not that I can't do this. I ran a SIG 552 for a number of years, and I'm very acclimated with that manual of arms of removing a paddle magazine release type of magazine. but it's not efficient. So again, it's kind of like the MP5 and having to smack the bolt, the charging handle to release the bolt. MP5 is a great gun, but a very antiquated design from the standpoint of ergonomics. So again, I want this to mimic as much of my AR manual of arms as possible to lead to a greater degree of consistency and efficiency. So let's talk about PCCs in general. Historically, I have been a bit of a PCC naysayer. Didn't really have a use for PCCs. If I was going to be firing something that was shoulder fired, it needed to fire a rifle caliber. Not only are terminal ballistics better, but it's a rifle. Give me a rifle caliber. That was kind of my approach to things. But then the more I thought about it, it's like, well, shooting can be done just for the sake of being fun. It doesn't have to always be competition oriented or self-defense oriented. It can just be fun. And if you've ever shot one of these, it is fun. I have plenty of 22s that serve no legitimate purpose other than to go out and plink and to have fun. So if I can do that with a 22, why can't I do it with something that fires a pistol caliber? So it's kind of like my rationale really didn't hold water once I started analyzing it, so to speak. But then people will still go, well, that's fine, it's for fun, but you definitely don't want to use one of these for self-defense purposes or home defense because, again, it's a pistol caliber. A rifle is far superior. And I asked people like that, okay, so what do you use for self-defense? And if they go a pistol, then I have to look at them and go, but this is a pistol. If you're carrying a pistol out on the street for self-defense purposes, but then you're saying that this is totally inadequate for use as a self-defense weapon, doesn't really make sense. Yeah, a 5.56 is ballistically better, but a 5.56 this size is, well, less reliable, more wear and tear on the gun, much greater muzzle blast, and louder. So this does have some benefits to it. So yeah, I'm kind of starting to get on board with that whole PCC bandwagon, I guess. Doesn't mean I'm giving up my rifles, but I'm not totally discounting PCCs. I've warmed up to them, so to speak, as is evident by me having this one currently. So here's the gist of it, guys. If you're looking for a pistol caliber carbine, then check out the CZ Scorpion. Is this optimized to go out and shoot USPSA PCC matches? No. Could you do it and have fun? Heck yeah. But is this something that you can get and have fun shooting? Definitely. Is this something you can get and use as a home defense weapon? Certainly. You can certainly do that. If you've been using a pistol, then, well, guess what? For me, this one allows me to deliver more rounds on target faster with a higher degree of accuracy and be able to do that at even greater distances than any pistol I own. So those are some good attributes for a defensive weapon. So yeah, you could use this for defense. And is it something that you can take with you virtually anywhere? Oh yeah, this will slip right inside of a backpack and is very quickly deployable. So the CZ Scorpion has a lot going for it, and by most accounts, it makes an excellent suppressor host, and that's something I hope to investigate in the near future. So check out the CZ Scorpion, and if you are a naysayer or anti-PCC guy, I encourage you to be a little more open-minded. You may find that there's a whole other world out there. So until next time, guys, you all stay safe. Take care.